Okay, so different venue for tonight's episode, and we're going to be looking at some more of Deadzone 3, which will be hitting your shelves of your local friendly gaming store at the end of October. So we've managed to play 2 or 3 games of version 3. I'm going to stop calling it version 3 because it's really 2.5, arguably even 2.2. Core rules themselves haven't fundamentally changed. What they have done, they have redone the points, made it a lot glossier. The presentation of the books is a lot better than anything else I've seen Mantic produce. Just the sheer quality of the production of this product is really, really high. Getting on towards Games Workshop levels. The game itself didn't really need a huge amount of changing, and what they have done really probably has created as many problems as it's solved in a way, from the point of view of line of sight, which was always a little bit of an issue in version 2, where you could hide the tip of a rifle behind a wall and claim cover. Equally, you could draw a line of sight to your target from any part of the model. So obviously the famous one is the Goblin Sniper with the rifle up in the air there. You couldn't see the model at all, but because you could take it from the tip of his rifle, he could actually technically shoot from his he could shoot his sniper rifle from effectively twice the height of the model. So what they have done now, they've made this effectively almost kind of Infinity-esque way of doing it, where anything that overhangs the base you ignore, equally anything that is above head height you ignore. So straight away that gives the version 1 Kings of War problem, i.e. if you put your man or your enforcer or marauder or whatever you decide to do on a rock or stand him on a barrel, as long as he doesn't overhang, that's fine. Obviously it's the base that determines the width. However, line of sight is taken from the head. So effectively you can be as tall as you want. You can put him on stilts. It will give you a massive advantage as regards what you can see. Not really any disadvantage to what is coming back at you. So that's the first issue. Second issue is, yes, they've got rid of the tip of a feather or rifle being behind a piece of cover. But what they haven't done is they haven't actually taken away the straddling of cubes, so you can still straddle effectively 49% of your base in an adjoining cube, and as such obviously you basically can stand with a millimetre of your base in a doorway and still claim non-clear line of sight. So it's a difficult one to obviously solve the problem of that. However, I didn't really think it was a massive issue in version 2. Obviously version 3 hasn't really changed much. You may find some people gaming for a little bit more benefit by making their models stand on rocks, but we'll have to see. I suppose in a way the biggest thing that I've seen so far is the points variation. So we've done a couple of lists, and I've done a couple of example lists. So in version 2 I had an enforcer list that I'd used as a bit of a demo army really. So it's not, I haven't done it for specifically game purposes as such, but effectively it was an okay list for sort of giving the basics to any person that really wanted to learn how to play Deadzone. And it comprised really of no additional bits, just fairly standard stuff. So it was a Peacekeeper Captain and 2 Peacekeepers, one of which with a Defender Shield, just to show how that worked, an Enforcer Specialist with a Sniper Rifle, 2 Standard Enforcers, and 2 Pathfinders. Now that list came in at a grand total of 191 points in version 2. In version 3, that same list only comes in at 154 points. So that's 37 points light. So that's nearly a strider difference between version 2 and version 3, same list. So I'm hoping they've actually play tested these armies a few more times than the odd game. And obviously, yes, scenario is a factor, but scenarios are going to be beneficial to some factions more than others anyway, i.e. if there's one with lots of objectives, things like the ver-myn, and are obviously going to benefit from sitting on objectives with numbers and speed, but really that's going to be a factor for both. So Enforcers, big points difference, big points difference, and obviously that we'll have to wait and see how that plays out when the meta sorts itself out after October. But just for the record, 37 points the difference. Wow, that's some difference. Okay, so did a different list with GCPS. We had the adverse. So this was an interesting one when I worked this one out. So 200 points in version 3. In version 2, 241 points for the same list. So you've got a 241 point GCPS list in version 2 equals 200 points in version 3. 191 points in version 2 of Enforcers equals 154 points in version 3. So that when you compare those two, admittedly obviously the Enforcers is 9 points less, however that is a massive swing. So yeah, GCPS don't look as if they've got massively better. They still look like Imperial Guard or Colonial Marines, Starship Troopers, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, Enforcers could well be the list that is going to be very potent in version 3, because points wise, massive difference. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at a couple of the units in particular, and we will talk about those. I'm not going to go into too much detail because obviously the book isn't out yet, and obviously we do still want to encourage people to go out and buy the book and obviously digest the list themselves. So this is just a ramblings of an old gamer who has no affiliation to Mantic whatsoever. So this is a completely impartial view. However, I do absolutely love Deadzone, and that and Dreadball are my two favourite Mantic games, and probably my top 5 or 6 games. Yeah, after a 30+ year career in gaming, absolutely love Deadzone. And version 3 really just gave me an excuse to go out and build some more boards, and yeah, paint up some more lists as well. So yeah, I'm still very focused on it. Lists, yeah, you can build lists to your heart content, and obviously the lists that we've just chosen as an example there are just 2 version 2 lists. Now, whether they're competitive or not, we'll have to wait and see. Whether it's going to be a massive issue, we'll have to wait and see. My only concern, obviously at this stage, is when you have a swing as big as that, then Enforcers, in particular in that example, could be a bit tricky to deal with. So yeah, I'm going to look at a few more lists anyway. So on to a couple of the models in question, and the first one we're going to look at is the mighty Peacekeeper Captain. So we are going to look at him and see the difference between him in version 2 and version 3, which is coming up next. Right, so the Peacekeeper Captain. So yeah, part of the Enforcers list. So in version 2, he came in at a grand total of 44 points and 4 VPs. He had a shoot value of 4+, fight of 5+, survive of 3+, armor 2, size 2, recon 4+, and his abilities were Bastion and Tactician 2. For the 44 points, what you got with him was a wrist blade with AP 1, close combat, the DB laser rifle, which is range 6, weight of fire 1, rapid fire, and a jump pack. So in version 3 or 2.5, same guy, same Peacekeeper Captain, is coming in at 36 points. So it's an 8-point saving, which is a massive amount, and he's got better in version 3. So not only is he cheaper, he's also better. And the way he's better is his fight skill has gone from 5+ to 4+. So version 3, he is 4+ fight instead of 5+, which again is quite a big change. It still comes with recon 4+, and still comes with the Tactician 2 and the Bastion Mantic Splat. Weaponry, wrist blade does exactly the same thing, so it's AP1, close combat, and the Dominator rifle, range 6, rapid fire, weight of fire 1. So again, identical loadout. So the only difference being that he has increased his fight skill and also now has the skill solid as well. So the addition of the keyword solid basically means that he now can't be fragged out of a square. So anything that does a blast that would have previously sent him out of the square, again, can't do that with a Peacekeeper Captain anymore. They are basically Arnold Schwarzenegger. So massive change on him. So that's a big swing straight away of 8 points saved. So your standard Peacekeeper, we'll have a look at the standard Peacekeeper now. And they have gone from, let's have a look, Peacekeeper, standard Peacekeeper is 26 points in version 2. Peacekeeper, let's have a quick look. Yeah, 26 points. And again, stat wise, they are identical. And for 26 points you got a energy gauntlet and the laser rifle. So in this edition you get the energy gauntlet and the rifle you can take. The difference being 6 points. So he's gone from 26 down to 20. So straight away Peacekeeper armies are going to be very strong. They have massively been reduced in points. They all come now with solid, so that's the rule that stops them being fragged. Still all come with the jump packs, and struggling to see any difference. They are still 3 VPs each. Peacekeeper Captain was 4. But yeah, struggling to really see 2 hit points, 2 armor. Yeah, massive points shrink. So straight away we've saved 8 points on the Captain, 6 on each Peacekeeper. So you had a squad of 4 Peacekeepers, you're saving 26 points, which is effectively another Peacekeeper. So you're getting 5 for the price of 4 now. Let's just think about that for a minute. Okay, so you can potentially take 7 Peacekeepers with a Captain in a 200-point list. Ouch. Okay, so so that's that one. So that's the Enforcers. So yeah, let's have a look at some GCPS now. I think is probably the safest bet. Now they are obviously one of the ones in the example that have gone up massively in price, and that's mainly because you are adding in the extra items that they effectively need in order to make them half decent. So for example, the Ranger, let's have a look at that. Let's just have a quick, okay, so what's the obvious standout one there? Let's have a quick look between version 2. So the monocycle hasn't gone up, hasn't changed in points. The key one I think is, I mean, the corporate marines are still 8 each, so they're no different. And the Strider, again 40 points with the Polaris cannon, same in version 3. The Rangers are the key ones, only really because in version 3 I think they come as standard with laser carbines. Yeah, laser carbines. So they come with laser carbines at a points cost of 14. Now in version 2 they were armed with laser rifles, and then if you change them to the carbine, which is the main difference between, in fairness, this version 2 list and my version 3 list, they suddenly jump because you had to pay for the carbine, which was an extra 4 points. That was an extra 4 points a model. So they are 2 points dearer and then 4 points extra, I think it was, for the carbine. So that's where that list has changed quite dramatically, and yeah. Let's just have a look what else we have there. Heavy weapons squad, 22 points in version 2, only 20 now with a missile launcher. So again, a little saving there in version 3. The Marine with the grenade launcher, let's have a look what he came in at. Let's have a look. Yeah, again, another 3 points extra there, because again you're paying for a rifle that's not going to be used, because you're basically already paying for the version 2 built-in cost. By adding the grenade launcher, took him up to 16 points, whereas now you can get him for 13. So yeah, a little bit of variation. It's not too bad. It's just not saving really. It's fairly similar. I mean, it's up by 20 points there or thereabouts between the editions, but if you cut the price of the carbine upgrade for the Rangers out, to be honest, the list is almost comparable at 200 points. So the GCPS don't seem to have gained or lost anything between effectively the versions. Say the Enforcers have noticeably changed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for those two lists. So obviously the way that lists are built, these in this edition, very similar really in a way to your previous edition. So you can only have one leader. You have no limit on the amount of troops. You can take one specialist for every member of your army that has got the troop allocation, and then support you can take one for every 3. One living legend only if required, and equipment's limited as normal. So the Enforcers themselves, you've got obviously a mixture of ways to build the list. You've got your Pathfinders, Enforcers, Sergeants, Captains and Peacekeeper. Then you've got your Enforcer Operatives. The way that they've done it now is a lot nicer. It's a lot easier to build lists. Obviously the Easy Army Army Builder will be available on release, so again do check that out at easyarmy.com. And Troops and Specialists, there's nothing really, there's nothing new really in the Enforcers list that I've sort of noticed. Obviously the fairly standard stuff. The GCPS is one of the more recent factions as well, so again there's nothing spectacularly new in there, but again it's a little easier to work stuff out. So that's those two factions. Hope that gives you a bit of an idea, and again whets your appetite, ready for version 3. Do start getting those forces ready for the table. I know that Black Dragon Miniatures in Hinckley, we are going to be running a store league. We've got a couple of tournaments coming up as well, which will be version 3. And again, obviously we're doing 20% off on pre-orders, so do check out the website blackdragonminiatures.com, and thank you for watching. So we'll see you soon for some more bat reps and game demos and etc. Alright, so thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.